Hello, everyone. I am currently using StreamYard to record a video. Currently, this is not a live stream, it is a record only feature. And it's me, Chastity White Rose, and I have not been doing videos or podcasts for a really long time. However, I have found that StreamYard gives me very good audio quality with my microphone. And in fact, I actually have a new headset. This seems to be working well for me so far, and I hope everyone can hear me correctly. So here's the thing is I've had some life challenges, losing my apartment, only having part-time work, not having my own bed, not having a bedroom, sleeping on my mom's couch. It's just been a really bad time in my life, but I am working at Hy-Vee. I'm working as a floral clerk at a different store, but I want to distract myself from my current financial and living situation, okay? But I do have a lot of thoughts that I want to get out. I have a lot of things that are important for people to know. I am starting a new series, and it's going to be called "I Am Transgender, But." And it started with a little blog post I made. And what I want to do in this episode is I want to screen share, if I can, my blog page and read along. So you'll see the words on the screen, but I'll read along to it. But I may do some additional commentary on each part of what I wrote. Now, my webcam does not work. It works for a second, but as soon as something touches the cord, or even if a speck of dust falls on the cord, it stops working. And the purpose is not for you to see me anyway. Everyone knows what I look like. It's not hidden what I look like. I'm very weird looking. I'm transgender. And there's going to be a big theme about me being transgender in this series because that's what I want to talk about as it relates to people's ideas that they wrongly assume about me and other transgender people. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite other transgender people. For example, Blair White, Dylan Mulvaney, Rose Montoya, Samantha Lux, Isla Rose, there's all kinds of transgender people. Oh, let's not forget Maya Henry. If I'm not mistaken, she is vegan, besides being a trans woman. I follow a lot of trans women and I know their stories quite well as they are similar to my own. So mostly I follow trans women, but I listen to trans men such as I think it's Jamie Dodger, for example, is a popular one. And I have disagreements with a lot of trans people. There's things I agree with, but a lot of things I disagree with. And people lump all transgender people together just as they lump transgender people with gay people. And we share certain similarities, but we are not the same. And anyway, I'm rambling as I tend to do. Now, I'm planning to publish, if I get good audio quality, I'm planning to publish this as an audio series, and perhaps it will be available on iTunes, just like the Free Will Science and Religion podcast or the Celibate Vegan Voices, because I used to do a lot of podcasts, but I've had many things preventing me from even having the time or the privacy to do recordings without interruption. So I'm going to be talking about some of that too, but I want to get into my main topic. It's been a while since I've used StreamYard, but StreamYard is an amazing service. I could do a commercial for StreamYard anytime because I've used this for many live streams and other recordings. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let's see here. I'm going to see if I can do this. Okay. So I'm going to currently just share a tab. I'm going to share the tab that I currently have open, and I'm not going to share the tab audio because there is none. There's nothing playing on this page. So here I'm going to, let's see here. Yeah, okay, it's sharing this tab. So let me just double check. Okay, let me make sure everything's set up because, okay, this is where it just shows my little icon there. That's from Love Nikki Dress Up Queen, by the way. and but I just want it to show this part. So this is my own website. I actually pay to keep this website up, actually. Now, it is a WordPress blog, and it existed as Chandler Klebs. Well, no, it existed as chastitywhiterose.wordpress.com. But currently, it is chastitywhiterose.com. That's because every year I pay for the domain name and for it to be ad free. So it is just a WordPress blog, but it has a lot of interesting things. Now, several things. This website, my name at the top, the white rose, and the white rose is a pure love flower of light, and it has links to other things like my LinkedIn profile and my GitHub. Because I do computer programming, I have a GitHub account as too. So you can check all this out on my website. But today's focus is going to be this post I wrote. I am transgender, but and there is a picture of me. And I don't usually include pictures with my blog posts, but I do believe that this is a good example of what I look like, because this was taken, in fact, only 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. I work in the floral department, so I'm able to wear blue and green shirts as well. And that's just me taking a mirror selfie. And that is what I look like. I wear my black glasses because I'm blind without my glasses. I got my long blonde hair. I bleach it with peroxide. That's how I get it so blonde. My name tag says chastity. And now we're going to get into my post. Now, what I want to do is for people who have trouble reading small print, I want to expand this because if I do Control plus, um, I think that's big enough. Okay, so I'm going to read the entire text of this. So if you're blind, I'll still be reading the whole thing for you. In fact, I know a blind guy. He's amazing. He does his own series of podcasts. So today's post is I am transgender, but I think trans people should have their own sports leagues separate from men or women. I do not believe in 72 genders. I believe there are two genders and that I am both of them. I am a checkerboard of the soul containing pieces and squares of male and female, but it was female that won the chess game and led to my transition. I think Drag Queen Story Hour is creepy. I'm generally conservative on a lot of issues politically, including pro-life, with the exception that LGBT people should absolutely be able to marry who they want and gender transition. I don't want people jailed for using the wrong pronouns. Being transgender is a lot less important than my Tetris scores. I am not trying to be sexy just because I like to look good and take better care of myself than I used to. I will not do SRS or sexual reassignment surgery because I do not need an artificial vagina and would not use it. Additionally, many other transgender people do not want surgery due to cost and medical problems that can result. All surgery is risky, and people must do research and know what they are getting themselves into. Transgender is not a sexual orientation, nor should T have ever been lumped with the LGB. That said, I love gays and think that they have better fashion sense and make great floral designers. I still use the men's restroom unless gender neutral restrooms are available and or I've been given direct permission to use the women's restroom and everyone is completely okay with it. I stick with the men's mostly for my own safety because there are people who believe that anyone who looks male is going into women's restrooms to rape them. They don't know that I'm no threat to them, and they don't know that I'm physically incapable of sexual activity because I have no testicles and my penis is always the size of a baby carrot. There have arisen some situations in the men's restroom, however, because I no longer look like I belong in there either. However, if someone complains of a woman in the men's restroom, I only need to use my baby carrot dick to clarify the situation. And that's the entire post. I also posted it on Facebook, but I am currently in Facebook jail, and so I thought it was good to have just screen share on my blog here. So anyway, that's the short version of it. I mean, that's the whole post, but I do think that each of these things I mentioned, I have vast amounts of topics on each of them, okay? The sports thing, the drag queen story hour, there's all kinds of things. Each of these are vast topics, okay? But this post is a short way of me, um, saying briefly what I believe about each of these issues. Now, as far as the Tetris scores, I do have to say anybody who knows me knows that I'm majorly into Tetris. I do tool-assisted speedruns of Tetris. I made my own Tetris game called Chase-Tris, you know, and I'm mostly a gamer. I'm more of a gamer than I am transgender, and that's obvious. If you look at my TikTok, Instagram, my Facebook, YouTube, you'll know that most of it is Tetris or perhaps Puyo Puyo because I've been into that game, or maybe a little RuneScape or Minecraft on the side. I'm a gamer. I'm basically a trans girl gamer. So anyway, here's the thing. I could just yeah, okay. For the rest of this recording, I could just show this right here, if I want to, I suppose, because that's me, as opposed to just yeah, I'll do that. And first of all, let me check something here. Yeah, I'm still recording, and I'm sharing that tab. Okay, anyway. So, here's the thing. All of those topics have many implications to them. And actually, what I could do is I could go deeply into more of my reasoning about these. I'm not sure if anybody's interested, but I have a whole lot more thoughts about these topics than I wrote. And I could write more, but I will admit I'm constantly evolving on these issues. I'm constantly thinking of new things. And I could be wrong about some of these things, and you can debate me, but I don't really care. The point of this post is that being transgender does not mean that I share the opinions of all the other transgender people. So let's just take some of these paragraph by paragraph, okay? I think trans people should have their own sports league separate from men or women. There are many reasons I believe this. Okay, first of all, that's because sports is a very competitive thing, and people get hurt, especially in contact sports. And I think, first of all, due to violence by people who hate trans people, and also people who are just very competitive, particularly women who think that uh, biological males should not be in their sports because they have an unfair advantage. Now, that may or may not be true. My personal intuition is that biological males, such as me, would have a physical advantage in certain sports, particularly ones that involve, upper arm strength or increased height because men are taller than average compared to women. But a lot of it is just protect trans people. I want transgender people to have their own space, separate. I think we need to have transgender people having their own space and keep the cis people out of transgender spaces. That's how I view it. I think that sports is stupid to begin with, unless it's just for fun. I hate competitive sports. I hate sports on TV. I don't watch the Chiefs. I hate football because people get hurt. So I have my own hatred of sports. But if people do participate in sports, I think that there should be separate transgender leagues, separate from the regular men's and women's, because trans people are different. We are different physically and emotionally, and I just think that's the safest option for all involved. Okay, as for the next one, this is kind of funny. I do not believe in 72 genders. I believe there are two genders and that I am both of them. I am a checkerboard of the soul containing pieces and squares of male and female, but it was the female that won the chess game and led to my transition. Now, people say things are not black and white, but they're missing the checkerboard. The checkerboard is both black and white, has many parts of black and white. And I believe in binary. I believe in the gender binary. I believe that things in the universe come in sets of two: male, female, black, white, good, evil, tall, short, up, down, left, right. I believe in the binary. I am completely binary in my thinking. And this makes me different from a lot of people who are saying that the gender binary is wrong. No, the gender binary is right. It's just that some of us don't fit into it. Some of us contain mixes of male and female, particularly intersex people and transgender people as well. I do think that there are two genders and there are mixes of them, but I don't believe there's 72 or 76 or 93 genders or whatever the alphabet people are saying. And when I say the alphabet people, I'm kind of talking about other people have called us the alphabet people, such as Dave Chappelle, because there's LGBTQIA plus minus whatever. It's like I mean it's stupid, okay? The acronyms and all the names of all the genders, it's gotten stupid, okay? It's just really stupid, okay? And transgender people and the gays and the bisexuals and lesbians, they're making us all look stupid. But when one person of the supposed community does something dumb, um then it makes us all look bad. It really does. And there's plenty of examples of gay people doing dumb things. There's plenty of examples of transgender people doing horrible crimes. But people need to get to know that not all of us are like that. Some of us are just regular people. Now, as for this, I think Drag Queen Story Hour is creepy. Now, this one I could be wrong about, but personally, I think it's okay, for people to of all types, including drag queens, to read books to children. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do think there is something wrong with the idea of, well, I'm going to read books to kids, so I got to get on the dress and the makeup and look a certain way. Because when you're reading stories to kids or anyone else, it should be about the stories themselves. They shouldn't be looking at you. They should be listening to the story. And I definitely think it's okay for kids to know that gay and transgender people exist. Absolutely, I don't think we should hide from from the fact that drag queens exist. But I also think it's dangerous to just have a special event specifically labeled as Drag Queen Story Hour, because it's making a bigger deal out of a drag queen than it needs to be. And I also think it's troubling because drag is commonly associated with sexual things. I personally love drag queens as long as they're not being ridiculously sexual. Um, but I do have my concerns about children being sexually traumatized by something going on that should not be going on, that might be sexual. And that's my opinion on that matter. I need to do more research on Drag Queen Story Hour, but I think there are pros and cons to it. Anyway, about this one specifically, I'm generally conservative on a lot of issues politically, including pro-life, with the exception that LGBT people should absolutely be able to marry who they want and gender transition. Now, here's the thing: when using terms like liberal or conservative or Democrat or Republican, I don't really know these labels very well because I'm not a very political person. But I do find that I tend to agree more with conservatives or Republicans, people, or the so called right wing. I tend to agree with those people on most things. In fact, on almost everything but two matters. Whether I don't like their attitudes about when they're against gay marriage, when they're against transgender people. I hate that. I also don't like their obsession with guns. I'm not very pro gun. I don't know what to think of the gun situation, but I know that Republicans care about the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, being able to own their own guns for their protection. I get that, but I still don't. I still don't think guns are a good idea because children get a hold of their parents' guns and they kill themselves, they kill other people, and guns are not a good thing. Okay, guns are not a good thing. Whether or not I think guns should be banned or not is another matter, and I remain on the fence about that issue. But a lot of times I would rather listen to Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson or something like that, um, than listen to, Democrats who are very pro-abortion and stuff like that. The abortion issue is a real reason that I would consider myself more Republican or conservative than other things. That singular issue is very important to me because I am pro-life, and most LGBT people do not like people who are pro-life. But I just think killing innocent babies is wrong. I think killing anyone is wrong. But I think killing the most innocent among us, including the non-human animals and the unborn children, is about as wrong as it can get. Okay, I don't want people jailed for using the wrong pronouns. Now, there are some people who think people should be charged with crimes, hate crimes, or go to jail if you use the wrong pronouns, not wrong name or pronouns. You have to use everyone's preferred name and pronouns. And simply put, people are not mind readers. Okay, they're not mind readers, and some people like Matt Walsh, and Ben Shapiro, they absolutely refuse to use preferred pronouns. They absolutely refuse to because they believe that you are whatever biologically your chromosomes or your genitals are, which I think is wrong. I think they're wrong about that. Okay, I think it's creepy, this focus on genitals and chromosomes and stuff. I think it's creepy. I think Ben Shapiro and other people are sort of being a little bit disrespectful when they just out them out refuse to use people's preferred pronouns and stuff. But I don't want them jailed for it because I do believe in freedom of speech. And if they don't want to use the correct pronouns that people prefer that represent their soul instead of their body, I think they're wrong, but I believe in free speech, and that takes priority. Okay. Yeah, and I already explained about the Tetris scores. I'm more of a gamer than I am transgender. But yes, Tetris is the best video game ever, and you can fight me on that, but I'm sticking my ground on that one. Tetris is good. Okay. I am not trying to be sexy just because I like to look good and take better care of myself than I used to. Now, here's the thing. The reason I included this in this post is because quite often, trans women, we take a lot of efforts. Some take a lot more effort than I do to change their appearance. Electrolysis or laser to remove facial hair. That sometimes they like to wear a lot of makeup and dress a certain way. They do very much what they can to look more female biologically. They want to look like a biological female, so they're trying to look good because they're trying to pass. But people take this as a sexual thing. They think that trying to look like a woman means that you're being sexual and you're trying to seduce people. But that means that somebody who's born female is being sexual just by existing. And it also presupposes that women are sexual and men are not sexual, which is bizarre because, I mean, in my own thinking, men are the sexual ones. They have the dicks biologically, but that doesn't mean you have to be sexual just based on your body. So I'm not trying to be sexual. I do like to look good. And now, hey, I have long hair and I brush my hair, for instance. I shave. I do what I can. I still look like a man to a lot of people. I get called sir, but I get called ma'am too. I have a strange mix in my appearance. You saw my picture. Now, this is a big one here. I will not do SRS surgery because I do not need an artificial vagina and would not use it. Additionally, many other transgender people do not want surgery due to cost and medical problems that can result. All surgery is risky, and people must do research and know what they are getting themselves into. Permanent surgery is serious business. It's a very serious thing. I had one surgery. I had my testicles removed. And that was something very specific to my case because, as someone who has vowed celibacy and who's asexual, I wasn't going to be using my parts anyway. And so But there was also the fact I was in severe testicle pain, had testicular torsion, and I was just in excruciating pain. And that was why I had my testicles removed. And that's it, it's a big surgery, but it was something that led to me being out of pain, and it also led to me being happier because back when I had testicles and I had testosterone, I had erections, and that triggered the sexual trauma from when I was molested as a child, and so it's better for me emotionally as well as physically. So, but you know, sexual reassignment surgery or gender reassignment surgery, it's called both. Where they will say make an artificial vagina, and stuff like that. Well, there have been trans women who've had the surgery and yet they've had problems with it, and some of them don't even recommend it. Some do, but it's a serious it's expensive. It can have complications. It's very risky. And I just put this in here because I don't want people to think that all transgender people have to have surgery. That's not what makes you valid as a transgender person. And I also don't think all surgeries are beneficial. Not all surgeries are good. I can recommend orchiectomy for people who are similar to me in their goals in life and want to be celibate. It really helps to remove the sexual parts if you can. Um, but it's not for everyone, and it's certainly not for people who intend to have biological children. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother podcast. Okay, transgender is not a sexual orientation, nor should T have ever been lumped with the LGB. That said, I love gays and think they have better fashion sense and make great floral designers. Now, yeah, transgender is not a sexual orientation. And it can be very clearly you could be lesbian, gay, bisexual, asexual, pansexual. You can have any sexual orientation, whether you're transgender or cisgender. You can be any of those things. Transgender does not make you one of those things. I will say this though, it's hard to define terms of gay or straight because those terms presuppose male and female, such that, for example, if you are a straight, if you're okay, let's say you're a straight man, but you come out as transgender and then you're a woman, well, that makes you a lesbian if you're still attracted to women. So now straight is gay and gay is straight. So gay and straight no longer exist because transgender people exist. The terms are meaningless now, but I do think they can have some meaning. But also let's keep in mind that you know, if we're talking about sexual orientation, we're talking about same sex or different sex attraction, gender identity, but the biological sex are different. So a person could be like totally, let's say somebody was totally into biological males, whether those people identified as men or they identified as women, they're just into biological males, or they might be into biological females and not care if they have been on testosterone for 10 years and have a full beard. Maybe they don't care. So sexual orientation is something I'm not even qualified to speak about very much. I don't know much about it. I'm a celibate. But I do know about being transgender, and that's why, my posts and podcasts are about that topic. But I want to make clear that that's not the same as the other things. But I'm going to be talking more about gay people in future episodes. And I know a great floral designer who is gay, and I put this in here just for him. I love that guy. He's funny. Okay. I still use the men's restroom unless gender neutral restrooms are available and or I've been given direct permission to use the women's restroom and everyone is completely okay with it. I stick with the men's mostly for my own safety because there are people who believe that anyone who looks male is going into women's restrooms to rape them. They don't know that I'm no threat to them, and they don't know that I'm physically incapable of any sexual activity because I have no testicles and my penis is always the size of a baby carrot. There have arisen some situations in the men's restroom. However, because I no longer look like I belong in there either. However, if someone complains of a woman in the men's restroom, I only need to use my baby carrot dick to clarify the situation. Now, I think it's worth mentioning that I was harassed at the former Hy-Vee which I worked at. There was a guy who accused me of using the women's restroom. Now, I'd never used the women's restroom at that store, but he accused me of it and he told me to stay out of the women's restroom. And I told him that, I've always used the men's restroom because I know I look like a man. But if I did use the women's restroom, it wouldn't be morally wrong because I'm not any harm to anyone. And even the women who I work with in the floral department, they even said they know that I'm no threat to women. They would not be afraid if they saw me in the women's restroom. But because of people's attitudes, I've stayed using the men's restroom pretty much all the time just because, I don't want people to bother me. But even though I never used the women's restroom, there was a guy from the meat department who harassed me and we had a big fight and was telling me that I was delusional and there's no validity to being transgender. And I said, yeah, that's your opinion, but I'm just here to do my job. And you had no place talking to me like that. So, but I'm no longer at that store and the HR guy dealt with him anyway. But I have been harassed even though I never used the women's restroom, just because there was some guy who assumed that I did. So I've had my own problems with regards to the bathroom issue. But anyway, I this video has probably gone on long enough, but I very much hope that um, people enjoyed this episode. Okay, it looks like I've been going for over 30 minutes actually. It looks like I've been going for a long time. Okay, well, I'm going to stop the share and thank you for listening to my TED Talk. So I'm still working out what to do with the audio, how I'm gonna publish this, but I'm wanting to get this new series started because this is just an introduction. I think there are many issues, and each of these issues I've mentioned, and perhaps those that I haven't mentioned, definitely they definitely deserve talking about. So I think I'll cut this recording off now because it is already over 30 minutes and I'll go from there and I'm going to work on some more details. Thanks for listening, whoever's listening. Bye.